In this video, we'll use movie translations to learn about some interesting cultural and language differences. Hi, I'm Eric. Welcome to We Do Movie Translations. Here, we'll study the English used in movies or TV shows and compare the translations between two languages that are completely different, English and Japanese. I think that looking at the translations of the complex situations in movies is a fascinating way to understand our languages and cultures and ways of thinking a little better. Today we have a science fiction movie called Dune. I'm really excited about this movie. If you didn't know, Dune is an incredibly famous science fiction novel. Written by Frank Herbert in 1965, it has become the world's best-selling science fiction novel. It is the first of a series of 6 novels called the Dune Saga, or just the Dune series. Because of the incredibly complicated, creative, and fantastic ideas in the story, making a Dune movie has been considered impossible. Although some have tried. In 1984, a Dune film was made by David Lynch. It featured a great cast of actors and some incredible and unforgettable images and performances. But it just couldn't come close to equaling the incredible scale of the ideas and images in the novel. And readers of the novel really loved the novel, but the audience that saw the movie basically hated the movie, although I thought it had some good points. And then later there was a TV miniseries made on the television Sci-Fi channel, but it was too cheap and just not grand enough. The story and universe of Dune is like the biggest story you could imagine, and it needs a lot of production value. But now we have the technology. Movies these days can make any idea look great. So now there's a new movie coming out. It's directed by Denis Villeneuve, and it's filled with great actors. The trailer was debuted recently, and it looks amazing. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. So now we'll take a look at 3 scenes and examine how the original English compares to the Japanese translations. First, we'll take a look at the Japanese subtitles and try to understand the meaning. Here's our first one. Nasake wa muyou da na. In today's first scene, we see the character Duncan Idaho, who is one of the greatest warriors in the universe, and he's a teacher too. He's played by the actor Jason Momoa, and he's getting ready for a fight. He's going to show us what he can do. The Japanese subtitles say, Nasake wa muyou da na. Now, the Japanese viewers should pause the video for a few seconds and try to think of how they would say this in English. You may not be a professional translator, but don't worry, it's a fun exercise. Nasake wa muyou da na is an expression that makes Japanese people think of old samurai movies. When they hear this expression, perhaps they have an image in their heads of an ancient, fearless samurai warrior. Nasake means mercy, and muyou means unnecessary or futile. So if we're translating directly, we could say something like, there's no use for mercy, or mercy is futile. Or if we're translating in a way that sounds more natural, like we would hear in a real English language movie, we might say, show them no mercy, or just no mercy. But what about the English of Dune? What does Duncan Idaho say in this scene? Let's fight like demons. A demon is a scary, evil, magical monster. So he's basically saying, let's go crazy, let's fight like monsters. Now the expression, no mercy, which we get from the Japanese, Nasake wa muyou da na, and let's fight like demons, which is the original English, are similar in a way, but they give us slightly different images in our heads. The English-speaking audience is imagining a scary monster, a demon, and the Japanese audience is imagining a fearless samurai warrior. It's an interesting difference. Now let's take a look at a difficult expression. Again, I'll show you the Japanese first. If you want to pause and try to make your own translation, I think you might be surprised. Here it is. 動物の本能は危機が迫ってこそ目覚める. Difficult, right? Well, 本能 means instinct. We're talking about animal instinct, or 動物の本能. And kiki means crisis. When I see the word 目覚める, I want to say wake up, but it's probably better to say awaken. When a feeling comes alive inside of us, we can say that something has awakened inside of me. Semaru is a little more difficult, and it depends on the situation, but it could mean compel or urge. But in this sentence, it's saying something is going to be imminent or impending. When a situation is about to fall on you, it's inescapable, and it compels you to act in a certain way. So to translate this literally, we could say something like, when a crisis is about to fall on you, your animal instinct awakens. Or more stylish, because it's a movie, the animal inside you comes out in a crisis. This sounds pretty cool, and I think it's the right way to say it. But what is the real English in this scene? Are you ready? An animal caught in a trap will gnaw off its own leg to escape. Now we have a very bloody, painful, and unforgettable image in our heads. Let me explain. Maybe you can imagine the scene when a wild animal, like a bear or lion, has its leg in a trap. Of course, it's very painful and frightening. The word gnaw is similar to bite, but it's used to express the kind of biting you do with the teeth on the side of your mouth, when you tear or break something with your teeth. This is gnaw. In this case, we imagine a wild animal cutting or breaking its own leg so it can escape the trap. The Japanese translation, 動物の本能は危機が迫ってこそ目覚める. The animal inside you comes out in a crisis, gives us the correct idea. The general idea is similar, but the image and feeling is much more painful and unforgettable in English. An animal will gnaw off its own leg. So again, the English-speaking audience gets a shocking image in their minds when they see this movie, but the Japanese-speaking audience will miss something. Finally, we'll do an easy one. This next expression is easy but very important because it becomes one of the major themes of the whole story, and it's one of the most memorable expressions from the Dune series. First, I'll show you the Japanese. 恐れこそが敵. Osore means fear, and teki means enemy. Don't think too much. This just says that fear is the enemy. And I think that's a good translation. But what do they say in English? What is this famous and important expression that I told you about? In English, he says, fear is the mind killer. Mind killer is not an expression we commonly use in English, but it's surprising to hear, and its meaning is clear and effective for an English-speaking audience. When you feel fear, you lose your mind. Your mind becomes less effective. Fear is the mind killer. Is quite an interesting expression. But I think that the Japanese translation gives us the correct idea. But I don't know if it's so poetic or artistic as the original English expression that becomes a famous part of the series that you never forget. I think it's really interesting to examine translations and try to understand the choices made by translators. Japanese and English are especially different. They're completely different languages. So truly equal translations are impossible. So we have to get creative. Maybe in movies, the most important thing is that the audience get the correct idea. Anyway, you'll never really get the complete story until you learn English completely. So your goal as an English language learner should be to finally be able to watch movies in the original English without the need for subtitles. That will be the most satisfying thing. But for now, please leave a comment below and let me know what movie you would like to examine next. And please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. See you next time.